Well, everybody, it's good to see you again. It's been 1 week of it all, and this is me, the angry anime fan, the semi-retired despair reviewer. As usual, only reviewing Eden Zero here. This time it is Eden Zero, chapter 110 that it comes in here. Actually, it's a very heartwarming chapter, so it has really some feel-good moments of it all. Story wise, though, it's only the ending really that feels like the story is moving forward. Anything can happen from now on, but we're still in the setup situation for me. But this chapter still had some tender moments here. First of all, we have to give praise for tenderness with the cover page, a page of Happy and Pino sitting together and their heads almost meeting each other like they're and smiling to each other. You know, I could almost call that a ship teasing moment. Even weren't for the fact that, well, they're technically both androids, but Happy is a cat and robot, while Pino is a humanoid robot, although granted a very small one. She's mostly associated with rabbits or fairies, but it doesn't change the fact that that picture is adorable. It's also full of snacks and stuff like that, so I guess they are having a little picnic or fun. Now, on to the chapter. Everyone tries to recover as they ask what the beacon is, but Nadia says she cannot tell. It is was something old. So then Rebecca begins to ask what is about all those robots shut down. And Nadia reveals, still smiling, mind you, pretty casually, if you ask me. Once upon a time, this island harbored a treasure that was worshipped since ancient times. And many travelers actually did get here to take a glimpse of the treasure. The treasure is something that is connected to the beacon that guides them to Mother, that which is why the Mother Temple. However, 200 years ago, someone stole it. 200 years ago? Draken was 200 years ago. Could he have been the one that stole it? Well, it would bring Draken back into the story, but nah, maybe not. I don't think he really is the one that stole it. But 200 years ago, I do wonder. Are we gonna see that? And apparently, that treasure radiated an ether that allowed every single android to be powered here. And when it was lost, the androids uh, no longer could rely on the fuel, meaning that they will shut down. Almost the same way as somehow Graham Bell's ether dried up and the robots couldn't replenish their own ether enough. However, Nadia reveals the reason why she is still active is because once upon a time, a man from 200 years ago repaired her, and but although it was connected to the fact that she could only function as long as the cable is inside of her, and he was apparently a kind, mischievous man that even Nadia said that. Although Nadia doesn't really confirms that she fell in love with him, uh, she does blush and saying that don't make me say it. It's a very moving situation of the fact that although Wise says that he doesn't really get it because that's 50 years ago, most of the fact that a human and an android could be in love. But that is kind of sweet. An android and a human can be in love. And Homura was raised by an android, and Shiki was, well, raised by android, so they see nothing wrong with it, and Rebecca is that. Although it is a very sad situation, though, because that basically confirms that the space pilot that just crashed down actually was Andrew, and no human do live for 200 years. But it does seem that the love actually was mutual, because in the ship, you remember, there was a conscription saying, Nadia, love of my life. So that really does begs the question if that was Andrew. Granted, a human doesn't live for 200 years, but he left to retrieve the treasure of the world. And now, 200 years, she is still waiting for him. Although Shiki will point out that that doesn't happen, Rebecca actually stops him and saying that it is very sweet. I don't really know why Rebecca stops the situation there, because it is truth. 200 years is human can't live that long. Although it would be a very sad end of this very romantic situation. Because Nadia only functioned because of this Andrew guy. And if she finds out that he will never ever come back, does she really have any reason to keep functioning? Maybe that's the end of this tragic tale. More than that, why did the ship come back now of all times? Well, that's the problem, isn't it? There's just something about this story that does not make sense. But it is a very romantic story, if it's true. And many people have actually found the Mother Beacon before, even including Siggy. But we don't know what else do it. Then we get a fine scene when Witch actually enters the temple together with Laguna, who wears a full body suit. But we have to say that is not important. The important scene is Witch. Does she look wonderful in that swimsuit? I know we technically already saw that when in the beach scene, but this now we actually see it up close. It is wonderful. Oh my gosh, she is so beautiful. And so Laguna actually did say he would help, although it was under one condition. What that condition is, though, we have not known. But here is actually something that is good, because it's good because this is something that rarely happens very fast in Hiro Mishima's mangas. Note, I am not criticizing him. I still see him as one of the best ones. However, there are some tendencies sometimes when a question lingers and it never really gets an answer. It gets a quasi answer, but only very late. So that sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't really get answered, and you just have to take your own headcanon advice to it all. But that was a long time ago. Draken said that the four elementals was part of him, and we never got an explanation of what he meant by that. But now, from Laguna, we actually do find out. It turns out the Elemental 4 wasn't just his elite. And according to Laguna, he didn't even see themselves as minions. Because, unlike other people, Draken needed them. Because while Laguna didn't know it was freakishly old, apparently Draken's ether was unbalanced, meaning he needed ether masters of the four different elements to control his own ether. And that is what the Elemental 4 was. Yes, it doesn't exactly answer how they could help him balance his own ether, but hey, it's the Dark Alchemist, and he siphoned life force from other people, so he just roll with it. It does explain, though, what Draken meant, but they are part of him. They are part of him because he needed them. And then Laguna just throws in a lot of dialogue that is basically saying to the fans, oh, the team wouldn't have won if Draken didn't have unbalanced ether. If you didn't destroy his life support, you would not have win. To be honest, I hated that dialogue. It is basically saying that Shiki and the gang stood no chance unless that happened. Granted, they did use Rebecca's Time Leaper, but still, Cat Leaper, but still, there will be many more difficult opponents. If they can't defeat one, they can't defeat the others. At least not in other people are going to find it all out. So either way, Rebecca does confirms that they traveled through time. Shiki asks Laguna if they want to be friends, but he says no. So either way, but which do learn that apparently Siggy did come here, yes, but he came alone. Or at least down here alone, with no 4-star shining mates. The plot thickens. Just what is Siggy? And what is he planning? Something is not adding up. And now back to the Red Cave. Only Laguna and Witch is here, and we see her clothes melting up. She's saying she's unconcerned about nudity, but she is concerned about having her face exposed. So we see a very rare, adorable, shy side to her. It actually well pointed out by Shiki. She has taken off her helmet and she hasn't had visors on for a while now. But she has a very, very beautiful face. Either way, the plan, which is actually was Witch's plan, and it's actually been confirmed that she is among the smartest of the four shining stars, although her Mito is the smartest. And we're actually going to do a little combo. By using Laguna's powers to, well, turn everything into water if a person cries, Witch would use her water ether to solidify the water form into a water body. And then Shiki will use his gravity because it's an ether coating, meaning he can use his gravity power to travel through it with water. Although Laguna points out he will just be vaporized because of the heat, according to which the coating of the water will protect Shiki, meaning that he won't even be burned. With that, she scares him with a bug comment, and immediately he becomes water, and then they form the Waterman through the water coating. Or I presume it is water coating, or maybe it is just ether coating. Who cares? Either way, Shiki in his new water form blazes through the fire and actually manages to break through everything with uh, ease, much to Laguna's shock, but which has unlimited faith. She is so loyal to Shiki that I'm very moved by that. And so Shiki ends up in the next room who doesn't burn, where actually the treasure used to be. But around it, small lines, almost similar to an ether gear, all flows around. But according to a voice that is suddenly heard, all this is ether, as the voice is saying that a part of her is still around here. Because apparently the ether was, no, the treasure was more than just a secret treasure that allowed the androids around here to function. It was also a part of Mother, because the voice that is her hearing suddenly manifestate into the face of Mother, as she says, "This is follow this ether, and it will show you the path to me. I am the matriarch of cosmos. I am a Mother." And what makes that scene even more amazing is that we see Mother again, full body view. Well, not full body view, half body view, but still large, with her eyes open. Because up until now, granted, we haven't really seen Mother too many times, but when we have seen her, she has always had her eyes closed. And now she is not having her eyes closed. So the ether around here is a remnant of the treasure, and that used to be part of Mother. And so the ether still remains despite the treasure. And so this ether is the guide to Mother, and she somehow can connect through this ether. It is unknown if this is actually, I mean, yes, this is Mother, but what I mean is it's not exactly confirmed yet if this ether is manifesting a projection of Mother, or if Mother in the cosmos from before can communicate through the ether that of her that was left behind. That is not confirmed yet, but it still is an amazing picture to see that Mother one. So yeah, this was just a feel-good chapter, a tragic love story with Nadia and stuff, but it's still very sweet. A very good cover page. So yeah, I may have given it a very low review, but that is because this is still a setup, and setup doesn't really push things forward. Still have too many questions, but still, this is a feel-good chapter most of the time. I mean, yeah, the Nadia situation is tragic, but it's still sweet. So give me your thoughts if you